Hey, it's your old buddy Bob Koshinski. We're here at one of my favorite eateries in all of the world. That, of course, Chef's Restaurant on Seneca Street with the co-owner, Lou Billittier Jr. And Lou, we've done some tremendous stories over the years, and we just wanted to catch up with you because coming out of the back end, hopefully, of the pandemic, restaurants have been hit the hardest. How has it been for Chef's Restaurant to survive during the COVID pandemic?
I can't lie. It's been tough. You know what? It's every managerial trick in the book I've used. I've leaned on a lot of my other friends that are owners of restaurants. We talk almost daily. It's been tough. We're making it through, but by the skin of our teeth.
Chef's Restaurant has been synonymous with great Italian food in downtown Buffalo, and we have some of your famous entrees in front of us. One of the things I wanted to talk about today was the fact that these entrees are now available when you come into Chef's Restaurant in a frozen variety. If you want to leave, take them with you, heat them up at home. How did that come about?
Actually, during the pandemic, with everything going on, we had to find different avenues to make ends meet. So we came up with this idea, why not freeze our food? We did a lot of beta testing, we did a lot of research, and we finally came up with 7 or 8 dishes that we felt are just as good when you put them in your microwave or in your oven. It's like being at Chef's. So it's been really good, not only in the restaurant to take out, but also online. We're selling quite a bit to expatriates that are all over the country.
You don't mean Patriots as in New England Patriots?
No, Buffalo.
We don't want to get off to the wrong foot, although we pounded them pretty good. Now, we've got some wine here in the center of the table. Something else that you ventured into?
Yeah. We, about a year ago, we were thinking up different things again, and I was approached actually by a guy named Tom Donesco, who used to own Tina's Italian Kitchen years ago in Hamburg, and he said, why don't you see a good friend of mine that owns a winery? He goes, they make great wines, and I think he could help you. So long story short, we did a lot of tasting, which wasn't a bad thing, and we came up with 4 really good wines that we felt really complimented chefs, and we named them appropriately, and hopefully this will be our next venture.
Right now, to taste some of this delicious wine, you have to actually be in the restaurant, correct?
You do. You have to order it here. You have to drink some of it. You can take it out after you've opened it. But currently, we're working with the SLA to change our liquor license, so we will be able to sell it both online to ship, as well as you can come in and just buy a bottle.
I mentioned the entrees out in the middle of the table, and the most famous entree in Chef's Restaurant history, of course, is spaghetti Parm. And spaghetti Parm is something, we've done stories. The dish was invented with your dad, Lou Sr., and Dave Thomas. Dave Boreanaz, that's his real name, but Dave Thomas, to all our Channel 7, Rocket Ship 7 fans, came to the restaurant a couple of years ago with his son, David Boreanaz, the famous television actor, and they showed how spaghetti Parm was invented, how it was made. It's really a delicious dish. I mean, it is by far, I got to believe, your top seller.
Oh, without a doubt. Chefs wouldn't be here without spaghetti Parm. I call it the Italian beef en weck for Buffalo. People go other places, they hear beef en weck, have no idea what it is. Spaghetti Parm's the same thing. We invented it. I think we perfected it, and it by far outsells all our other dishes, probably 2 to 1.
And something I didn't know until just a few years ago, it is the #1 favorite dish for Buffalo Bill Hall of Famer Bruce Smith.
Yes, that is true. Bruce ate spaghetti Parm before every game his whole career, believe it or not. He never missed a Friday night when there was a Sunday game, home or away.
And your restaurant has been used both takeout and for a setup here for NFL films recently. They like using chefs. One story with Bruce. Frank Reich came to town with Hard Knocks for HBO. They wanted chefs takeout. So chefs has become, chefs was always synonymous with the Sabres in the NHL.
Sure.
But now it's becoming a fixture with the NFL as well.
Yeah, it's starting to. NFL Films really took a liking. They felt we were easy to work with. They liked our food. And they just recently called us with the HBO Hard Knocks one, and I got calls from different parts of the country because they had saw the chef's containers on the table with Frank and Steve Tasker and Bruce Smith. So, yeah, little by little, we're breaking into the NFL maybe.
Now, you've also got some of my favorites here as well. We've got the boneless chicken cacciatore. Boy, I love that dish.
Yeah, it's we've had chicken cacciatore on the menu since 1923, and we went boneless about 10 years ago, and it's a good seller. It's easy to eat. It tastes as great as the chicken on the bone, so it's a good dish.
And if you're counting calories, that boneless chicken cacciatore is a good dish because it's full of taste but not a lot of calories.
Correct. It's mostly vegetables and chicken, so it's a good healthy dish.
As opposed to spaghetti parm, which we won't even talk about the calories.
No.
We've got the chicken parm, and that, I guess you tell me, is a top seller as well.
Yeah, that's probably number 2. We sell a lot of chicken parm, chicken cutlets as well. Those are 2 real big sellers. Again, it's a semi-healthy dish. It comes with a side of spaghetti, so you get your little bit of pasta and your chicken. So that's been a good seller.
And the stuffed shells, that's always a favorite.
Yeah, that's a staple. We've had stuffed shells since I was a little kid. So, we have that, and we have lasagna. If you're not into the long, you like a nice big piece, then you get our lasagna.
I wanted to talk about the food today because we've done so many videos with you about celebrities and sports stars, but at the core of the success of chefs, it's the food.
Oh, absolutely. The food, I joke all the time. People always ask me, how do you know this movie star? Or how do you know this sports guy? I said, it's through food. Everything comes back to the food. If you don't have good food, it is what it is, unfortunately. But we've been so lucky that everybody that comes in here, very, very rarely do we have somebody say, you know what, thank you, but I'm not going to have any. They love it enough that they're always saying, send me some. And that's how I've developed a lot of friendships over the years around the country. They eat our food. You got to send me some when I get home, and I'll send them some, and we get a rapport going. And that's how it kind of works, is through the food.
Well, now with the frozen entrees, you can actually ship them the actual item. I know that when we did the story with David Boreanaz, he said he tried duplicating spaghetti parm at home. He can't do it because the heat of a conventional kitchen oven that you'd find in somebody's home isn't the same as you do here in the kitchen. But the frozen entree you sent them is exactly the same thing.
It is. We, as we had spoken in that segment, we make it exactly the same. All the dishes that we send, exactly the same. We blast freeze them very quickly so it seals in that freshness. And then when they get it at home, they defrost it, heat it, and everybody keeps telling me that it's just like being at Chef's. So we're lucky.
We started this off by talking about coming out of the back end of the pandemic, and like all restaurants, prices have gone up. Prices have gone up on gasoline, prices have gone up on building materials, prices have gone up for supplies for restaurants, and as a result of that, Lou, you've had to make some adjustments.
We have, painstakingly so. We've just raised our prices, actually, and it's something I didn't want to do, but it's, between cost of goods is just through the roof, as anybody's gone grocery shopping knows, but also labor is just to get workers, you're paying them so much money, and I don't feel bad doing that, because especially like a dishwasher, that is such a hard job. That's where my dad started when he was a kid. That's where I started. So I know what it takes. So I feel they should be compensated well. But we're paying so much money that we had to raise the prices. I pray that people understand that.
I go to restaurants.
Yeah.
My wife and I, Mary, go to restaurants quite a bit, and we've noticed the increase. But I think part of enjoying the experience of going out to a restaurant, everybody was locked in their home for almost a year. You want to go out. You want to have that experience of dining. And not just fine dining, family dining. And Chef's has always been a very welcoming place, regardless of the experience, whether you're here for a family function, whether you're here for just a night out before you head over to a Sabre game or something like that. You pretty much cover all bases. And we've done a lot of videos with you over the years, some fun ones. I think back, Rob Ray has always been a fixture in what we've done here at Chef's. Remember the time Rob Ray actually gave you a haircut?
I do. It was a great cause. It was for charity with Roswell. I was a little nervous because Razor doesn't have the softest hands, and he had sharp instruments around my ears, but it worked out great, and Rob and I have been friends for a long time, and he's one of the most charitable guys in Western New York.
You've had such a long relationship, and your dad as well, with the Sabres organization. You've had functions here where all the Sabres, the alumni would unite and come out, and you've used some of them in some of your promotions. The food truck comes to mind, your food truck experience. Remember that?
I do. We had a big grand opening, and I had a bunch of Hall of Fame guys come in. We lifted them up on a big platform, and you know, the guys are just so nice. I ask them to do some wild, crazy things, and they always say, yeah, okay. You know, like they're never too important or too big, and no, I don't do that kind of thing. And I've been very, very fortunate to have some very good friends that are from the Sabres.
You've participated or supplied the goods for spaghetti parm eating contest, and remember the famous meatball eating contest held right back here in your banquet room.
Yeah, we had all the media celebrities, and Carl Russo took first place in that one from 97 Rock. I believe Don Postles came in second. I thought he was a lightweight. He surprised me. But yeah, we again, everything went to charity, and that's what I try to do. We have a good time, and somebody can benefit from it. It's no fun to do it if somebody doesn't get something out of it.
You've never been afraid to try something new. One of your ventures was the pizza, which was fun, just didn't work out.
No, it worked great when it started, but yeah, I think the Koshinski pizza is what really sank it. The half Italian, half Polish pizza.
Yeah, kielbasa on pizza just didn't work.
It didn't work.
The spaghetti parm pizza was interesting.
We get a ton of, believe it or not, we get a ton of requests for that still. I said, nah, we got rid of our pizza oven, so I can't do it. But that was a big seller, believe it or not. It's something about cheese, pasta, and butter just goes on everything.
To backtrack, without a doubt, the key to your spaghetti parm is that melted butter. That is a secret ingredient most people don't realize when they're eating it. They think about the cheese, they think about the sauce, but it's that hot butter in the middle. I guess everything's good with melted butter.
Yeah, exactly. When we did our frozen food, of course, we had to do nutritional values, and when the values came back, it blew us away. We never realized, it's a lot of calories. It's a lot of calories.
Chef's Restaurant here located on Seneca Street. It's here to stay. You and your sister Mary Beth, you've run this since your parents have left this earth, and your mom and dad, such great people. And I'm sure they're proud. They're looking down on the fact that you've been able to endure. We're doing this in the French Connection room,
right,
which was an addition to this restaurant. You've done a lot to add to what your father already built.
We try. You always have to keep evolving. You can't stay stagnant in this business, especially. And this was our last big venture, was adding and put another addition on and adding the French Connection room. And we had all the Sabres come in, and Terry, unfortunately, lost Rick Martin just a few days before we unveiled. So Terry Pagula stepped in and took Rico's spot, and it's home. We try to make it home for everybody in Western New York. It's comfort food, and we're hoping to be here another 100 years. We got a year left. We're in year 99. So,
folks, if you want a great Italian meal, if you've never tried spaghetti parm, which is hard to believe, you've got to come to Chef's Restaurant located on Seneca Street in downtown Buffalo, New York. It's some of the best food you're going to find anywhere. Lou, it's always great to be with you.
Oh, thank you. It's an honor to have you here, Bob.
That'll do it. Until next time, this is Bob Koshinski saying have yourselves a great meal and a much better tomorrow.